I noticed that there has been some fallout as a result of the Saudi led decision to have OPEC or OPEC plus, that is OPEC and its affiliates, not raise production as the United States actually wants in order to bring oil prices and gas prices down, but in fact actually to cut production by a couple million barrels, which will see the price jump. In fact, I think it already has over the last couple of days. I noticed that there were some pretty dramatic rises already in prices at the pump. And as a result, this is seen as a very pro-Russian gesture or move because it keeps the price of oil high. It allows the Russians to make more money on their own oil. It keeps energy costs overall high. So it means that you can raise natural gas and all the other things as well. So there's been repercussions where Democratic senators and Congress people are now threatening to cut off U.S. military aid and transfers or military sales and support to the Saudis. And this idea that any departure from the path that the United States has laid out for its allies to follow means that it's a betrayal and needs to be punished. And you can't be playing both sides in this issue. You can't be neutral. You can't, develop your own policy that might be in your own interest. I mean, nobody has reflected on the possibility that perhaps it is in the Saudis' interest to maximize the price of oil at this point, because that, of course, is also how they make their national wealth. But it is seen and interpreted as simply an anti-U.S. and a pro-Russian gesture. And so, I've just found it very interesting that there's been no mention at all of the fact that the Saudis are still using U.S. weapons for its occupation of and war on Yemen. And so all of a sudden there's a bipartisan consensus that the Saudis need to be punished, for this, but there was never any, similar kind of consensus around other crimes, actual genuine crimes. This is just the Saudis following their interests and perhaps benefiting Russia by they are oil producers. They are part of OPEC. That is a cartel, and they set the price. I mean, and just simply because they don't do what the U.S. wants, this suddenly is a belligerent action, whereas their actual war crimes in Yemen are being ignored, have been ignored. So I thought that was an interesting point. It seems that there's a lot of consensus here. And this is, of course, a reversal. I mean, already Biden had said he was going to isolate Saudi Arabia and Mohammed bin Salman because of the murder of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. He never acted on that. And when they thought there was an opportunity to get the Saudis to increase production, he's willing to overlook it. So I don't think it's quite a very good look for U.S. policy. And I think it is an indication of the way in which many, many other countries in the world are going to be following a more independent line that suits their interests. And this is going to be a challenge to U.S. dominance. So we'll see what happens with this.
I should mention that one of the disservices that mainstream media performs is not explaining that you cannot drill your way out of this. When President Obama put our oil into the world market, the whole idea of fracking and drilling was we would never be subject to the vicissitudes of the world oil market.
Right.
And then Barack Obama, in his infinite wisdom, said, you know what, we got to help out the oil producers. Let's peg domestic oil production to the world market. And so whatever we produce goes up and down with the world oil market. So there's no way to drill our way into cheaper gas. Is that correct, Professor Andly?
Well, that's part of it. Although, if I let me say at the front end, I think it is ultimately still about profits. I agree with Adnan about this, that it is about, in the short term, simply propping up Russian profits as well as the Saudis. And the democratic response is, on the one hand, we've already obligated ourselves to all those arms sales, and slowing them up, I guess, will have some effect on the Saudis, although I think there are other measures that could be much more extreme. And also, I think if I recall correctly, there's still a ceasefire between the Saudis and Yemen. That doesn't mean that things aren't happening. It's just that that's less of an issue than I think the kind of public relations. I think people have made money, in fact, just simply on the price rise. And so that it's a little bit of goosing the market, et cetera. So I think there's people are making money. Let's just put it that way.
And have we quarantined the weapons we sell to the Saudi Arabians to make sure that those weapons don't get used in Yemen?
I think there are some things written into the agreements that prevent transfers, and the Saudis don't do a lot of transfers anyway. I'm just saying they tend to keep all their stuff,
Right.
Right. But I would say that we've been obligated to those contracts since the Trump administration. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
The big change was that big major deal that Trump went through with, because it had actually been held up at the end, I think, of the Obama administration.
I